Hello everyone. This is Debashmita Sharkar and today I am starting with the new topic which is Mughal emperors. So let's begin. At first, let us know a small brief description of Mughal Empire. How it extended, who found the Mughal Empire, all these things we will know in this slide. The Mughal Empire or Mughal Empire, self-designed as Gurkhani, was an early modern empire that controlled much of South Asia between the 16th and 19th centuries. For some 2 centuries, the empire stretched from the outer fringes of the Indus Basin in the west, northern Afghanistan in the northwest, and Kashmir in the north, to the highlands of present-day Assam and Bangladesh in the east, and the uplands of the Deccan Plateau in South India. The Mughal Empire was conventionally said to have been founded by Babur in 1526, a warrior chieftain from what today is Uzbekistan who employed aid from the neighboring Safavid and Ottoman empires to defeat the Sultan of Delhi, who is Ibrahim Lodi, in the first battle of Panipat and to sweep down the plains of Upper India. The Mughal imperial structure, however, is sometimes dated to 1600. To the rule of Babur's grandson Akbar, this imperial structure is lasted until 1720, until shortly after the death of the last major emperor Aurangzeb, during whose reign the empire also achieved its maximum geographical extent. Reduced subsequently, especially during the East India Company rule in India, to the region in and around Old Delhi. The empire was normally dissolved by the British Raj after the Indian Rebellion of 1857. So this is all about the Mughal Empire. Now we will know about the Mughal emperors. In this video we will only know about the great Mughal emperors. Who were they? The major Mughal emperors were Babur from 1526 to 1530, who was also known as the founder of Mughal Empire. Then comes Humayun from 1530 to 1540. Then from 1555 to 1556. Here you will be seeing that 15 years there are gap. We will know why this gap is there in later slides. Akbar from 1556 to 1605. Jahangir from 1605 to 1627. Shah Jahan from 1627 to 1658, and the last great Mughal emperor was Aurangzeb 1658 to 1707. So let's know more about these 6 great Mughal emperors. First we will know about Babur. Babur was born on Jahir Wud Din Muhammad, was the founder of the Mughal Empire and first emperor of the Mughal dynasty from 1526 to 1530. Means he ruled over the period of 1526 to 1530 in this Indian subcontinent. He was a descendant of Timur and Genghis Khan through his father and mother respectively. From his mother, he was the descendant of Genghis Khan, and from his father, he was the descendant of Timur. Babur was born in Andijan in the Fargana Valley in present-day Uzbekistan, the eldest son of Umar Sheikh Mirza from 1456 to 1494, who was the governor of Fargana from 1469 to 1494. And he was a great grandson of Timur, who ruled over 1336 to 1405. Babur ascended the throne of Fargana in its capital Akshikent in 1494 at the age of 12 and faced the rebellion. He conquered Samarkand 2 years later, only to lose Fargana soon after. In his attempt to reconquer Fargana, he lost control of Samarkand. In 1501, he attempted to recapture both the regions failed when Muhammad Shaybani Khan defeated him. In 1504, he conquered Kabul, which was under the putative rule of Abdul Abdur Razak Mirza, the infant heir of Ulus Beg too. Babur formed a partnership with the Safavid ruler, conquered lands to the Shaybanids. Ruler Ismail won and reconquered parts of Turkestan, including Samarkand, only to again lose it and the other newly conquered land to the Shaybanids. After losing Samarkand for the third time, Babur turned his attention to India. At that time, the Gangetic plain of the Indian subcontinent was ruled by Ibrahim Lodi of the Afghan Lodi dynasty, whereas Rajputana was ruled by a Hindu Rajput confederacy led by Rana Sanga of Mewar. Babu defeated Ibrahim Lodi at the First Battle of Panipat in 1526 CE and founded the Mughal Empire. He faced opposition from Rana Sanga, who at first promised to help Babur defeat Ibrahim Lodi. However, he later backed out upon realizing that Babur had planned to stay in India. Uh, the Rana prepared an army of Rajputs and Afghans to force Babur out of India. However, the Rana was defeated in the Battle of Khanwa in 1527, after which he was poisoned to death in 1528 by his own men. Next, we will know about the next Mughal emperor, who is Humayun. Nasiruddin Muhammad was better known by his regnal name Humayun, was the second emperor of the Mughal Empire who ruled over territory in what is now Afghanistan, Pakistan, northern India and the Bangladesh from 1530 to 1540 and again from 1555 to 1556. Like his father Babur, he lost his kingdom early but regained it with the aid of Safavid dynasty of Persia with additional territory. At the time of his death in 1556, the Mughal Empire spanned almost 1 million square kilometers. In December 1530, Humayun succeeded his father to the throne of Delhi as ruler of the Mughal territories in the Indian subcontinent. Humayun was an inexperienced ruler when he came to power at the age of 22. His half-brother Kamran Mirza inherited Kabul and Kandahar, the northernmost part of their father's empire. Kamran was to become a bitter rival of Humayun. Humayun lost Mughal territories to Sher Shah Suri but regained from 15 years later with Safavid aid. Humayun's return from Persia was accompanied by a large retinue of Persian noblemen and signaled an important change in Mughal court culture. The Central Asian origins of the dynasty were largely overshadowed by the influence of Persian art, architecture, language, and literature. There are many stone carvings and thousands of Persian manuscripts in India dating from the time of Humayun. So here I want to tell that Humayun, when he was defeated by Sher Shah Suri, he fled to Iran, and the time he was defeated was in 1540. But then he got, after 15 years, he got Safavid's help and then recaptured the part which he lost, or the Mughal Empire, in 1556. But he died died in an accident in his building at 1556. Then subsequently, Humayun further expanded the empire in a very short time, leaving a substantial legacy for his son Akbar. Then comes the next important ruler, which is Akbar. Abul Ifat Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar was popularly known as Akbar the Great and also known as Akbar, was the third Mughal emperor who reigned from 1556 to 1605. Akbar succeeded his father Humayun under a regent, Bairam Khan, who helped the young emperors expand and consolidate the Mughal domains in India. When Akbar was the emperor, he was very, very small. At the age of 12, I think he succeeded his father and got the Mughal Empire to rule. A strong personality and a successful general, Akbar gradually enlarged the Mughal Empire to include much of the Indian subcontinent. His power and influence, however, extended over the entire subcontinent because of Mughal military, political, cultural, and economic dominance. To unify the vast Mughal state, Akbar established a centralized system of administration throughout his empire and adopted a policy of consolidation, conquered rules through marriage and diplomacy. To preserve peace and order in a religious and culturally diverse empire, he adopted policies that won him the support of his non-Muslim subjects, eschewing tribal bands and Islamic State identity. Akbar strove to unity far-flung lands of his realm through loyalty expressed through an Indo-Persian culture for to himself as an emperor. This is a short biography, short biography on Akbar. Now we will know more about Mughal Emperor Akbar. Mughal India developed a strong and stable economy, leading to commercial expansion and greater patronage of culture. Akbar himself was a patron of art and culture. He was fond of literature and created a many library of over 25,000 volumes written in Sanskrit, Urdu, Persian, Greek, Latin, Arabic, and Kashmiri, staffed by many scholars, translators, artists, calligraphers, scribes, bookbinders, and readers. He did much of the cataloging himself through three main groupings. Akbar also established the library of Fatehpur Sikri exclusively for women, and he decreed that schools for the education of both Muslims and Hindu should be established throughout the realm. He also encouraged the book binding to become a high art. Holy men of many faiths, poets, architects, and artisans adorned his court from all over the world for study and discussions. Akbar's court of Delhi, Agra, and Fatehpur Sikri became centers of the art, letters, and learning. Timurid and Perso-Islamic culture began to merge and blend with indigenous Indian element, and as distinct Indo-Persian culture emerged characterized by Mughal-style arts, painting, and architecture. Delusioned with Orthodox Islam and perhaps hoping to bring about religious unity within his empire, Akbar promulgated Din-e-Ilahi, a syncretic creed derived mainly from Islam and Hinduism, as well as some parts of Zoroastrianism and Christianity also. Akbar's reign significantly influenced the course of Indian history. During his rule, the Mughal Empire tripled in size and wealth. He created a powerful military system and instituted effective political and social reforms by abolishing the sectarian tax on non-Muslim and appointing them to high civil and military posts. He was the first Mughal ruler to win the trust and loyalty of the native subjects. He had Sanskrit literature translated, participated in native festivals, realizing that a stable empire is dependent on the cooperation and goodwill of his subjects. Thus, the foundation for a multicultural empire under Mughal rule were laid during his reign. Akbar was succeeded as emperor by his son Prince Salim, later known as Jahangir. This is all about Mughal Emperor Akbar. I have given a lot of information about Mughal Emperor Akbar. You can take some information from this video. Next come Jahangir. Nuruddin Muhammad Salim was known by his imperial name Jahangir, was the fourth Mughal emperor who ruled from 1605 until his death in 1627. His imperial name in Persian means conqueror of the world, world conquer or world Caesar. Jahan, world Gir, the root of the Persian verb gereftan, to seize, to grab. Tale of his relationship with the Mughal courtesan Anarkali has been widely adopted into the literature, art, and cinema of India. This is all about Janaki. Next comes Shah Jahan. Shahab-ud-Din Muhammad Khurram, better known by his regnal name Shah Jahan, was the fifth Mughal emperor who reigned from 1628 to 1658. He is widely considered one of the greatest Mughal emperors under his reign. The Mughal emperor reached the peak of its glory. Although an able military commander, Shah Jahan is perhaps best remembered for his architectural achievements. You all know which is the great architectural means site or architect achievement he got it. We all know. We have got to know from this slide. One monument he made. Which monument you can you remember? Yes, and it is one of the seven. It stands in the name means in the list of seven wonders of the world, and the name of this monument is Taj Mahal in Agra. Let's read it. It is there in the next part only. His reign ushered in the golden age of Mughal architecture. Shah Jahan commissioned many monuments, the best known for which is the Taj Mahal in Agra, which entombs his favorite wife Mumtaz Mahal. His relationship with Mumtaz Mahal was being heavily adopted into Indian art, literature, and cinema. Shah Jahan was considered the most competent of Emperor Jahangir's four sons. Jahangir's death in late 1627 spurred a war of succession from which Shah Jahan emerged victorious after much intrigue. He put to death all of his rivals for the throne and crowned himself emperor in January 1628 in Agra under the regnal title Shah Jahan, which was originally given to him as a princely title. His rule saw many grand building projects including the Red Fort and the Shah Jahan Mosque. Foreign affairs saw war with the Safavid and conflict with the Portuguese but positive relations with the Ottoman Empire. Domestic concerns included putting down numerous rebellions and a devastating famine from 1630 to 1632. In September 1657, Shah Jahan fell seriously ill. This set off a war of succession among his four sons, in which his third son Aurangzeb emerged victorious and usurped his father. Shah Jahan recovered from his illness, but Aurangzeb put his father under house arrest in Agra fort from July 1658 until his death in January 1666. He was laid to rest next to his wife in the Taj Mahal. Aurangzeb. Muhyiddin Muhammad, commonly known by his subsequent name Aurangzeb or by his regnal title Alamgir, was the sixth Mughal emperor who ruled over almost the entire Indian subcontinent for a period of 49 years. Widely considered to be the last effective ruler of the Mughal Empire, Aurangzeb compiled the Fatwa-e Alamgiri and was among the few monarchs to have fully established Sharia law and Islamic economics throughout the Indian subcontinent. He was an accomplished military leader whose rule has been the subject of praise through he has also been described as the most controversial ruler in Indian history. He was a notable expansionist during his reign. The Mughal Empire reached its greatest extent, ruling over nearly all of the Indian subcontinent during his lifetime. Victorious in the south, expanded the Mughal Empire to 4 million square kilometers, and he ruled over a population estimated to be over 1558 158 million subjects, with an annual revenue of $450 million, more than 10 times of that of his contemporary Louis XIV of France, or dollar 38 624 1680 680 2800 2879 469 1894 rupees. So how much? Just see, can't imagine also. In 1690, under his reign, India surpassed Queen China to become the world's largest economy and biggest manufacturing power, worth nearly a quarter of global GDP and more than the entirety of Western Europe, and its largest, wealthiest subdivision, the Bengal Subda, signaled the proto-industrialization. More about more about this Mughal emperor, last great Mughal emperor Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb was noted for his religious piety. He memorized the Queen entire Quran, studied hadiths, and stringently observed the rituals of Islam. Unlike his predecessor, including his father Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb considered the royal treasury to be held in trust for the citizens of his empire. He did not enjoy a luxurious life, and his personal expenses and construction of small mosques were covered by his own earnings, which included the saving of caps and trades for his written copies of the Quran. He also patronized works of Islamic and Arabic calligraphy. Aurangzeb has been subject to criticism. Critics argue that his policies abandoned his predecessor's legacy of pluralism and religious tolerance, citing his introduction of the jizya tax and other policies based on Islamic ethics, demolition of Hindu temples, the execution of his elder brother Darashiko Maratha king, who was the Maratha king Shambhaji, and the ninth Sikh Guru Tegh Bahadur, and the prohibition and supervision of behavior and activities that are forbidden in Islam, such as music, gambling, fornication, and consumption of alcohol and narcotic. Various historians question the historicity of the claims of his critics, arguing that destruction of temples have been exaggerated, and nothing that he also built temples, paid for their maintenance, employed significantly more Hindus in his imperial bureaucracy that his predecessor did, and opposed bigotry against Hindus and Shia Muslims. So this is all about the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb. So with this we came to the last slide of our video or of our PPT. So thank you. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to comment in the comment section below that how I did this video. So bye bye, stay home, stay safe.